We begin with breaking news from the Lebanese capital, Beirut, where in the past hour, Israeli forces have conducted 3 consecutive strikes on residential buildings in a southern suburb of the city. Residents had been told to evacuate or risk being caught in the bombardments. Let's go to Lebanon's capital now. Our correspondent, Charles Stratford, is in Beirut. Charles, what are you hearing about the latest attacks on Dahiyeh?
That's right, yeah. We're hearing that there have been a number of strikes following those forced evacuation orders that were issued by the Israeli military, I suppose, about an hour and a half ago. We're unable to confirm as yet exactly how many strikes there have been. There have been no reports of casualties yet, but it would be pretty inconceivable to think that there haven't been people at least injured. Of course, this is a nightly event now. It's interesting, those forced evacuation orders seem to happen at around 10 p.m. every night. As is always the case, some terrifying video that is appearing on social media of the impact of what we understand to be missiles that are directly targeting buildings. And by and large, the vast majority of these buildings are residential. As is often the case, they are large blocks of flats containing hundreds of people's homes. Now, that area of the southern suburbs, before this crisis started, had a population of around 700,000. It's impossible to know exactly how many people are still living in that area, but certainly on the occasions that we go in, which is pretty much every day, in and around that area, although we do have problems like all the media with getting access to these strike sites, there are still people living there. And they will tell you just what a terrifying experience it is. So undoubtedly, one can expect that a lot more people have been displaced, despite the kind of pressures that already Beirut is facing in accommodating the people that have been forced out of their homes, and their homes are now destroyed. 1.4 million people, according to the Lebanese government, around 500,000 of those are children. The Lebanese government says it needs around $250 million a month just to look after the displaced people as a result of Israel's bombing campaign. So strikes like these, as I say, are putting additional pressure on the resources available to the Lebanese government. Of course, we had that Paris donor conference yesterday, countries pledging around $800 million towards humanitarian aid for Lebanon. But of course, nobody knows how long this bombing campaign is going to go on. But it's safe to say that there will have been a lot of very terrified people in that area yet again tonight, and a lot of people will have had their homes and their livelihoods completely destroyed.
Charles, thank you very much for that. That is Charles Stratford with the latest live in Beirut.